Good afternoon, YWCA viewers. This is Kendra McHale. I am the most recently now, new title change, Sharon. Oh my gosh. I am the Chief Development Officer for our organization, and it only just happened within the last few months. So here I am. And I do have a little brief overview I'd like to go over with our viewers, but if this is your first time watching, thank you so much. We have an excellent guest here today, but we are now in our second series after a huge outpouring of requests from our community. And this is our second series, episode 2 of our Butterfly Effect, sponsored by Pursuit. And Pursuit provides businesses with affordable resources and loans so that they can transform and grow. And they are Albany-based, community-focused lender, 100% invested in the success of their clients. So if any of you out there watching, or you know of individuals that are in a small business opportunity that are looking for funds, we highly recommend that we send you over there at pursuitlending.com. This, again, is an empowerment series where volunteer hosts like myself and Sharon, who has done interviews last season, will be interviewing inspiring women in our community. And, of course, we had to have Sharon Burstein because, of course, you did interviews last season, and you are such an amazing woman in our community. So, Sharon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kendra. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I love the Butterfly Effect, and I love the amazing work that you're doing at the YWCA. So kudos to you and everyone there. And hello to everybody who's on.
I know. I'm so excited. And like I said, last year, this is going to blow your mind, I think, Sharon, but we had 27,000 views last year.
Are you kidding?
Not even kidding.
That's amazing. That says a lot about the quality of what's going on at the YWCA, Kendra.
Well, thank you. And we couldn't have done it with individuals like yourself, which kind of leads me into, before I start asking you questions, people out there want to know, who is Sharon? So I'm going to read a brief part of your bio, because let me tell you, you have done some amazing things in your personal life, in your career, and we could go on and on about all those great things, but I want people to get an overview of who you are. So you are actually the president and CEO of Sharon Burstein International, LLC. And you specialize in international marketing development, motivational speaking, training, leadership coaching, and special events. And I also hear that you are an author, and I actually purchased your books and read them, and I highly recommend the audience to research these. But she is a 3-time best-selling author. What's Your Leadership Image? Life Snacks, 50 Motivational Messages, and Life Snacks for Women, Tips to Ignite Your Spirit and Inspire Your Life. And those can all be purchased on Amazon as well as directly from you, correct, Sharon?
That's true, and they're in a lot of bookstores as well.
I love it. I love it. So I know you, Sharon. I've known you now for a couple years, and I remember the very first time we actually went out to coffee, and we went over to Palette. And that's located over in Schenectady. And I remember saying to you, and I don't know if you remember this, but I sure do. I looked you in the eye, and I think I even got a little teary-eyed, and I said to you, I want to be you someday. Do you remember that?
I do, but it's very, very humbling. You don't want to be me. You may have a few things, threads as I call them, that you may want to weave in your life, but you are uniquely you, and you are just perfect and a wonderful joy.
Oh, well, thank you, Sharon. But as indicated, it was such a great meeting, and you just have really excelled in your career and everything that you do. And it is quite an honor to be interviewing you, as well as having you part of the family here at YW. So are you ready to jump in with some questions?
With both feet.
All right, here we go. So I know that I couldn't give the audience everything in your bio this morning or this afternoon, but I want you to have the opportunity to share a little bit more about you personally and professionally, and I'll give you the floor.
Oh my, that's a very big floor. Well, as you already know, I've owned companies for about 30 years, and I'm all about building people up. I'm changing lives, building futures. I've been in production, video production. I've created television shows. I've done a lot of film work. I've owned companies. I own patents and a few manufacturing companies along the way. But you know what? Life is a great adventure. And what I want to say to everybody who's watching this is just what you're doing now doesn't have to be what you do your whole life. And look at you, Kendra. You're growing and growing. Now,
we gotcha.
And everything that's going on, I apologize. I thought everything is turned off here, but we lost a signal. I apologize.
That's
but
okay.
anyhow, you know, that life is, as I said, life is a great adventure. And the great thing about our lives is we get to try new things. You know, how do you get to know how amazing you can be unless you try? So that's what I want to say to everybody out there. Just keep growing and doing your best and find the things and the niches that really interest you and pursue them with your whole heart.
Right. And you truly live those words. I mean, I see you all over the place. You've got your speaking engagements. I know we're going to talk about an upcoming summit that you have, which we'll get to here soon. But then at the same time, last spring, you know, you're up north and you're helping students, you're teaching students. I mean, I just love that you are open to all things that come your way.
Absolutely. You know, I started my career as an educator. I consider myself a lifelong educator. And of course, I'm a mom. My daughter's 32. Her name is Alexandra. Many of you may know her. She's a very successful lawyer on her own. I'm married. By the way, my anniversary is tomorrow.
Ooh.
36 years, Kendra.
Oh my gosh.
Believe it? Wow. Unbelievable. But anyhow, yes, I did go back to teaching. I haven't taught in decades. But we have a house on Lake George, and what I found last year is they were in dire need of substitutes with the pandemic. They couldn't get them. I really got tired of Zoom, so I helped out. I still do a little bit. But you know what? What I loved most was that it got me in tune with what was happening in schools from the student side, from the teacher side. Got to also understand understand our school district Lake George a lot more too. So it was a win-win with everything, and it was lots of fun and very rewarding.
Wonderful. Since we're talking about your house in Lake George, you posted recently some very beautiful bouquets. So I take it that you are quite the gardener on the side as well. Is that true?
That's very true. Gardening is my passion, you know, and it's very, very funny. How I got there. I'm now an avid gardener. I belong to the Fort Orange Garden Club here in Albany. And I also have extensive gardens at both houses, but I got to give you a quick sidebar.
Go ahead.
When we first got married, we bought this lovely old house in Albany, and it had these overrun gardens. And it was like, I don't know what to do with these. Maybe I'll just plow them out. And then the following spring, this letter arrived in the mail envelope to the current residents of the Keating house. And I opened it up, and it was written by Virginia Keating, who wrote for the Washington Post, Memories of My Mother's Gardens. And it talked about how her mother had made bouquets that she and her sister had to deliver every day in season to Mother Superior at the convent, which is where Maria College is right now. It was a sequestered convent, so there was no speaking. And so she would deliver them. And it was kind of like, okay, I get it. I'm supposed to figure out how to get these gardens back in shape. And so I did. And along that way, I found a new purpose, passion. Gardening is so therapeutic. And of course, then you get these wonderful flowers. We're at the end of the season, and there's nothing like making bouquets. And the other thing I love to do is make bouquets and just give them away.
I love that.
So.
They were stunning, so stunning. And you also have an artistic eye too, because it's I'm sure you need to have a little bit of an eye to put all these bouquets together, and so they were magnificent. So continue doing what you're doing. I love it. And
Thank you.
for those of you out there, I do follow Sharon on Facebook, and she has some very inspirational posts, and I don't think I've ever seen a negative post come across on your Facebook page. So you are very inspiring all the time. So I appreciate seeing positivity across my Facebook feed. So thank you.
Thank you. That's how I feel too, Kendra.
Right?
I mean, the world is filled with enough negative Nellies and negativity. And I'm all about building people up. And what can I do today to inspire myself and others through my actions that can create excellence with lasting impressions? It's actually my mission, my motto, and it's really pretty much how I live. And, we all can use more positivity in our lives, in the news, and really help to build one another up. So for everybody who's listening, watching this or anything, go out and give somebody a couple of compliments today. Do a random act of kindness. It can be as simple as opening a door for somebody. Simple things can make such a meaningful difference in people's lives.
Right. So let's talk about that in your life and how, you have that mindset. So who in your life inspired you? And I'm sure it's somebody very important. I'd love to hear this because obviously you are who you are, and that you must have had somebody in your life that helped you get to where you are.
I did. And there are two people. If I want to look at two different parts of my life, the first one growing up would be my grandmother, Lillian. And my grandmother, Lillian, was just the most amazing person in the world. She was just very spirited and lifted you up and always told me to go for whatever it was that I wanted to pursue and do, that everything is possible. And she was just adored, and she made nothing and anything special. And so I talk about my grandmother, Lillian. If you come to like Leadership Summit America, you hear my talks, you will also hear that I talk about my grandmother a lot. The other person that was very influential in my speaking life is a man by the name of Bob Danzig, who I just treasure. I call him my magic unicorn. He is the former worldwide publisher of all of Hearst's newspapers. He had humble beginnings in 7 different foster care homes here in the Albany and Troy area. He started off his career in the mailroom here at the Albany Times-Union, worked his way up through publisher and then on into worldwide with Hearst. But he also was a person who encouraged me to do with a lot of the things that I'm doing. And unfortunately, he passed a few years ago, but his memory and all the threads in his life and mine remain very special and very, very primary colors and glowing.
Right. That's wonderful. And I think you may have even said this, or, there's not one particular person. There's always people that pop into your life that help you at different points in your career or personal life. And it's amazing. And I'm sure there's even more, that have at some point or another given you guidance or your feedback. And so I appreciate that. And I love my Nana, and she passed many years ago, and I remember her so fondly. So I love that. That Lillian has still been a very important part of your life.
And Lillian lived in Schenectady, just so that yes, my grandmother lived in the of Schenectady, and she is just a marvelous, marvelous person. And she was very active in the community in Schenectady and was a very kind, community-centered person and very giving. So I think that's where I learned a lot of those lessons, and giving back in the community, building women up, building people up, and really learning to listen, because she was an incredible listener. And that's a great skill for all of us to really develop and cultivate.
Well, I was just listening to what you were saying, Sharon, and you briefly talked on being unique and empowering and lifting women up. Well, all individuals, but I want you to talk briefly about your Uniquely You event that you have. I know that it has already passed. It was this spring, summertime, but I want you to talk briefly about it just so that we can put a plug in everybody's ear about your upcoming events.
Oh, thank you. Uniquely You, Putting Women First, The Power of Possible, just finished its 4th year. Year 5 will be July 29 to 31. And it's at Weowaka Resort on Lake George. If you haven't been there, the location is magical. You just get there and you go, and for years, people had said, would you create, because I have another event, as you know, Leadership Summit America, would you create an event just for women? And I said, oh, someday, when I find the right location. And after speaking there, I toured the property that night, and we found that that very special property. We were sold out 3 months in advance. Our people this year range, and has been this way too, from about 24 to mid 70s. And we bring everybody together. We have people who come year after year, same as Leadership Summit. We probably have about a 30 to 35% return rate. Some every year, some may skip a year due to different life situations. And it's all about being your best you. But it's on Lake George. I hire a boat every year. We go out on the lake, because who doesn't want to be out on a gorgeous lake when you're on the shore? You want to get out there and experience it a little bit. But it's really about connecting these people together. And, you know, there's been the Good Old Boys Network. And yes, that's been going on for many, many centuries. But, you know, ladies, all the ladies who are listening, we need to do a better job at connecting and building our networks, similar to what the butterfly effect does here, what the YWCA does so magically and so great in the community and bringing women together. So, you know, get engaged with the YWCA, Uniquely You, whatever it is. Find other people, because, you know, what is the top limit number of friends you can have, Kendra?
Unlimited.
Exactly. And you know what? I find so many women say, you know, I have so few women friends. And for me, I collect them. I love meeting new people, establishing relationships. And as you know, I often meet and love to meet for coffee or a cocktail. I must admit, here and there, our lunch. And you and I have met for coffee. I'm looking forward to another one soon. We'd have to do that.
I hope so. Yes, we need to.
So.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I know that you talked too about Leadership Summit. Now, this opportunity is going on right now. Registration is right now. So I want to give you an opportunity to talk about what that event looks like, where that's at, and some of your speakers, because you have an amazing lineup of speakers. So please take this opportunity to share.
Thank you. Leadership Summit America is now in its 6th year. It will be at the Desmond Conference Center in Albany, which is near the Albany International Airport. And 6 years, it's amazing. But it's all about building leadership, because, you know, so often I ask in every talk that I do all over the world, although not traveling quite as much globally right now, is who was given great leadership skills growing up? And there are very few people who have. And why Leadership Summit America? Well, it is an amazing platform to bring top global speakers and leaders together. And I do it here in Albany, which is New York State's capital, because there are a lot of amazing companies and universities here. And really having something here, I think, is where Leadership Summit America needs to be. And we have everything from people who are right out of school. We have entrepreneurs. We have heads of major corporations who attend, and a lot of not-for-profits. And of course, we loved having you, and looking forward to having you return this year, and hopefully Kim Siciliano from the Y as well. So who are our speakers? Well, I must say the top one, who's been with us all 6 years, is Jeff Hoffman. Now, he may not be a household name, but you probably know a lot of the things that Jeff has done. And Jeff is a remarkable, kind, giving person, always giving with youth, which is something that I connect with as well. But he created Priceline. Then he went on to create things like the kiosk by which we all check in, because he got frustrated. One of the things that's great about Jeff is he's very magical at looking at what needs are out there. And that's the mark of a great entrepreneur, and then fills that niche. And he's created the Global Entrepreneur Network now, a whole network of programs. and many other things, a few new things that he'll be discussing at Leadership Summit America. And who else is joining me? Angela Badeau from Her Life magazine. If you know Her Life magazine, which is a marvelous magazine. But, you know, she and I have so many parallels in our lives. She's a kind, giving person. She's also worked for many global corporations and owned a lot of corporations. She and I both own several patents, not together. But so I love what she offers us. Kay McMahon, a top LPGA pro. She is amazing, owns Education Golf, but she's a really great leader. She has been really on the women's LPGA circuit for many years, is a top teaching pro, the way she really works on life. Then we have the diabetic chef, Chris Smith. The diabetic chef has written 2 amazing cookbooks. And you know what? There is really only, it's been said by the American Diabetes Association that there's like less than 1% of people who are not touched in some form by diabetes, either by somebody in your somebody in your family, or knowing somebody who is somewhere in that diabetes spectrum. We have Benita Zahn coming this year. And if you live in this region, you probably know that name, Benita Zahn, from WNYT NBC, Channel 13 here. But there's so much to Benita. Benita is also recently retired from broadcasting on a day-to-day basis. She's a life coach, a health coach, and keeping writing for the Times-Union. She is still doing a lot of things for WNYT. She's an amazing person. She's a great entertainer and on stage a lot. Then there's Dr. Lynette Louise, a brain expert.
I love her.
Isn't she fun and amazing? And, you know, she's also a very, an expert in the field of autism. She has a program, Fix It in 5, which is a global program. She had 2 children, adopted 6 children with special needs. And she's just the most kind, giving person. But she also helps us understand how we think, right brain, left brain, how it all works together. How do we lead? How do we follow? How do we create? And she's just magical. Dr. Steve Taubman this year is coming. He was here with us a couple of years ago, and he is an incredible therapist. Also, he's a hypnotist and a master magician. So wait till you hear his talk and the magic that he literally brings together on stage. It's mystifying, and you will love that. We have Chris Salem coming back, and Chris has amazing stories to tell. And then we have Sue Phillips, because, you know, I talk about leadership image, and that's what I'm best known for around the world. And your image, your leadership image is inside, outside, top to bottom, and all around. It gauges how you look, walk, talk, and everything, and all your senses. Well, this year we're adding Sue Phillips, who has designed some of the most incredible top perfumes in the world, including the iconic Tiffany perfume, a lot for Lancome and others. But we talk about sense of smell and how, your sense of smell and how because all of us, whether the perfumes are different, even the soaps and things, and talking about how it affects you, your leadership in life. And with her, I also created my own signature scent now called Uniquely You. So we're working on some packaging of that right now as well. And as you know, I have my books, Life Snacks. And now I'm also, just as a new thing to introduce to you that I'm working on, is called Life Scents. So we're working on some candles and fragrances to maybe be called like Believe, Courage, and Confidence.
Oh, Sharon, I am so excited about this year's event. And as you indicated, our CEO plans on attending, and I attended last year, and first of all, it was awesome to get people face to face again. And I learned so much, and I had so many different nuggets pulled out of that leadership summit. And I also appreciated the opportunity to be able to get up on stage and share my story about our organization and the great work that we're doing. So it's not a lecture series by any means. It is an opportunity for people to engage and network and mix and learn some new things. So we're really looking forward to that opportunity. Now, Sharon, if someone is interested in registering for that event, how do they do that?
Thank you. They can go on to my website, which is www.sharonburstein. So SHARON, B as in boy, URSTEIN. You'll see the event there. You can go into there and click into registration. There is standard, and then there's VIP. I know last year that Kendra, you came VIP. We do a special dinner, but it's limited only for 24 people. And we really engage the speakers. So you're sitting one-on-one with the speakers and having conversations with the speakers. And thank you for saying, Leadership Summit America, all the things that I like to do are about connecting and engaging people, not only this way with speakers, but with attendees. I like to get the attendees connected side to side, back and forward. And we really do a lot of that, because when you attend events like this, Uniquely You or Leadership Summit America, whatever event you are attending a conference with like-minded people. So aside from the content that you're looking to get, another thing you're looking to do, and you should be making, are connections, building friendships. And these continue on and on. And I think you made several new connections last year. And I'm all about trying to build and connect people together. And one other thing I'm going to say is this year, I think we're going to be able to welcome some of our youth back. So we're going to be able to have some of our treasured high school kids who are nominated by their schools. We have some scholarship money for those students, and we'll hopefully have a few college students. We're working on those details right now with everything that's going on. So it's, again, it's www.sharonburstein.com. And it's registration is open. I must say, VIP is 90% sold out.
Oh,
so
wow.
I would really encourage getting that registration in very, very, very soon, because we do keep it limited so that we can connect those people together. But, we have people who've come all 6 years. We have a lot of people who've been there for 5 years. We have a very high percent of return. And for Leadership Summit America, we have amazing sponsors like Alpenhaus and Artistry of Face and the Albany Auto Group, and so many people and all the attendees. We can't do it without, the support of many to bring in the caliber of speakers that usually are not here in this region. So most of the people we bring in from out, and then as you know, because you've been part of it, and we will be doing it again this year, we have a lot of panels, because we like to bring education panels, not-for-profit panels, and really bring people's voices in from different perspectives so that they can express it, people who have questions. And we really try to bring the whole audience together, our speakers and our attendees, so everybody gets to hear a voice and express their voice.
I love it. I love it. And I'm really looking forward to this year. I'm really excited that you do this in this community locally for us. And again, for those of you that are interested, please see our chat box there. We do have your website listed. But Sharon, we could talk all day, you and me, about all kinds of different topics, but we are running short on time. So I'm going to end this with one last question for you.
Ooh.
I know. And then we'll wrap it up. But you have had so many important people that have come into your life through Leadership Summit, Uniquely You, your background, and just the nature of who you are. So I want you to share the best advice that you have ever received.
Be authentically you.
Love it.
There's no faking life. Try everything in life, but be true to yourself. And it's not where you come from, it's where you grow from.
I love it. And I think that's the perfect ending to this episode. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us today. I loved being able to interview you, so thank you.
Yes.
And again, you mean the world to me. You mean the world to our organization. Thank you so much for everything that you do for us in the community, specifically women, and helping us to become our true selves. So thank you to our viewers. Thank you, Sharon. And please keep in mind that we are doing the Butterfly Effect Tuesdays and Thursdays from here on out until November. And they'll be from 12:30 to 1 p.m. So Sharon, I love you. Thank you so much. And viewers, thank you again for watching.
Thank you.